When we go into silent meditation, you can focus in on it, okay? So good. As I go within, I now acknowledge God, the divine spirit, as a living presence in everything and in everyone. I bless everyone I meet. I praise everything I do. I acknowledge God's abundance, the outpouring of the Spirit, the manifestation of life everywhere. I bless my family. I praise my friends. I rejoice in the activities of my life. I know that love does not condemn and life does not destroy. I sincerely desire that every thought of my mind and every impulse of my whole being will be constructive and life-giving, and will radiate that which I now believe and accept to be at the center of my being. The light that lights every individual's pathway. I bless the small things in my life, that they may multiply and become great. I bless everything that seems little, that it will increase. I bless that which is good. I desire that good alone will reach out from me to meet the need in everyone in love, in joy, and with thanksgiving. So with that in mind, I go now into the silence with a willingness to accept something that was said, or a willingness to release something that you're holding on to that was in direct opposition to what was said. And so now we begin to move forward with a commitment to keep our channel free from anything negative and to be willing to let go of anything which we need to let go of to embrace a greater flow of the Spirit that is already there. And we're appreciative, we give thanks, and so it is. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you for picking up the music. He always does what is needed for my talk. And we never talk, by the way, it just happens that way all the time. So the theme for the month of April is abundance, and what a great theme for spring. And the affirmation given is, I am grateful that all my needs are met. And then I gotta throw something in here just to tantalize and tease your imagination that Louise Hay said. Life is a lottery that we've already won, but most people have not cashed in their tickets. And that's really the purpose of this, is to help people cash in the tickets. And of course, the title, I gotta talk about the title, there's always a whole lot of everything. Haven't you got a whole lot of everything in your life? And that everything could be good, it could be bad, or it could be indifferent. Okay? There's always a lot of it. Has anybody had a whole lot of people in their life that are bad traffic drivers? Anybody here have that? Yeah. And you know, there's always going to be lots of them, and they're always going to irritate you if you allow that. Right? Doesn't matter, whatever your issue is, you'll always attract that to you, whether it be good things, bad things, or indifferent things. And we got to remember that. I remember a lady I had in my center in Red Deer. Oh, she was a sweetheart. And she come for counseling because she was a farmer and lived in a small town. Well, lived near a small town. And so I was out the other day downtown and I saw my ex-husband and I just went into a rage. I couldn't believe how angry I was over him. And I just need to deal with this and get some peace. And I said, dear, how long have you been divorced? And she said, 10 years. And I said, well, you still take him home every night and sleep with him. Well, I'm not going to tell you what she said. It really isn't something we want to repeat. I had these nice ladies that always said those things to me when I got the button right. But anyhow, she finally realized that it didn't bother him one bit, but it sure bothered her, and she carried that around all those years. So one of the key things to have an abundance of more good things in our lives is to let go of those sacred cows that we have, because all we're going to do is bring more of that into our life. Because you know, we always need to be right, and we're always right, and that's how it works. You got to learn to deal with things as they come up and not carry them. When I was working at St. One year I had this issue with my boss's boss. And one of them is I showed up at work one day and they were getting ready to move my stuff to another office and everything. And I had no idea about it, so her and I had a discussion face to face. You know me, I'm pretty direct. And I got that resolved right there and told her exactly how I felt about it and everything like that, and boom, okay? And then a few months later, we were in a meeting, and have you ever had somebody do something to you in a meeting and go, duh, like what's the matter with you, you're dumb or something? You ever had that happen? Unless my boss's boss did that to me.
Oh no.
Wrong person. Because we had a discussion right down there, right in front of the whole meeting, okay? And I said what I needed to say and how I felt, and I left it on the table. That was it. I walked out, never carried it with me. So time winds on, and now it comes time for our annual evaluation process. So my boss is going to do my evaluation, except he gets sick and gets put in the hospital. So guess who comes down to evaluate me? My boss's boss. So we went through the whole formal procedure and all the things that you need to do, and then at the end of it, she says, is there anything else? I said, no, I'm complete. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah. She said, I don't understand. You didn't make a mention of those two things that happened. And I said, well, nothing personal, but you ain't worth for me to carry around a grudge inside me and take up space inside of me when I could keep it open for all kinds of good things. And I said, what I needed to say, I said to you, I told you how I felt, I put it out there both times, and when I walked out, it was over for me. A couple of weeks later, the evaluation comes down. I'm going to tell you, I got the best evaluation that I've ever had in my entire life from a boss. Yeah. Okay. And I share that example because I know everybody's carrying something here. Well, how did he know that? Well, I don't know what it is, but I know you're carrying something that you need to release. Because you do not have enough space in your experience to harbor anything like that. You gotta let it go. You gotta learn to forgive, especially self. And you know, when I say forgive, you gotta love the person. No, you don't have to. You don't have to like them. Ooh, not forgiveness. You just have to be neutral and not have any feelings one way or another. And that's a good start. Most people can start there. It's hard to love somebody when you're not in the mood. You know what I mean? But it's very important to do that and to be able to clear the vessel that allows us to experience more abundance. Because we got an abundance of everything all the time. It's just a matter of how we see what we got. And I always tell everybody, this has been my thing, I work with kids, myself, it's attitude plus choice equal consequences. Try it on for size. If you don't like the consequences, look at your attitude and the choices you made. And you'll see how you're there. You have the power to change your attitude and to pace choice. Byron Katie said, placing the blame or judgment on someone else leaves you powerless to change your own experience. Taking responsibility for your beliefs and judgments gives you the power to change them. And so the main thing here is looking at your wants versus your needs. Okay, what do you need? And basically most of us got everything we need. All the rest of it is wants. And so that takes the starting point about how we can be successful at creating more abundance in our life. And it's a day-to-day thing, a moment-to-moment thing. It's not what you don't have that counts. It's what you do have that counts. What you don't have is not relevant. It really isn't. That doesn't mean you can't have what you don't have. That just means focusing on not having it is not the right thing to do. What one wants to do is start focusing in on the 3 keys: gratitude, thanksgiving, and blessings. Gratitude, thanksgiving, and blessings. Those 3 keys. Plato said that a grateful mind is a great mind which eventually attracts to itself great things. And you know, I'll bet you there is nobody in this room that got up this morning and went about their business and was grateful for toilet paper. Anybody's paused and thought, oh, am I ever grateful for it? Stefan did, yeah. Yeah, he probably had a runny nose. Okay, and you know, you might think, well, that's kind of funny, but you know, I remember the time that I was exceptionally grateful for toilet paper. And I was on an outward bound experience and a light mountaineering program, and we were in the bush on patrol for 18 days. And we had to resupply for our change of clothes that we had at the stash and to get the grub for the next 9 days. And the one thing that we didn't have was we didn't have any toilet paper. Now, we did spend 15 of the 18 days on stove, but we had no toilet paper because we didn't want to take the burn can and deal with it all. And of course, we didn't have towels, and we didn't have soap. There was organic soap that you got to use for your hands if you were cooking. That was your cooking game. But we didn't have any of the toilet paper. And you know, you really don't think about it until you don't have it. And I gotta tell you, it's amazing what you can do with snow. You mix it up like this, and it's just cha-ching like running your car through a vending machine, right? But I say that point because when I got home, the first thing I got toilet paper, I actually was going, wow! I had a real experience with toilet paper. And I'm telling you that because it's so simple. It's about looking around about everything that you're grateful for. I mean, you might have a little bit of Dunlap's disease, and you should be grateful for that. That means you got lots to eat. You know what Dunlap's disease is, no? That's where your belly Dunlaps over your belt. Okay? So it's an attitude of gratitude. Ernest Holmes said there is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith and acceptance, receptivity and realization. And so that's Thanksgiving. And I think people got the real wrong idea about Thanksgiving. Okay? Somebody gives you something and you give thanks for it. That's part of it. That's a good thing to do. But that's not what we're talking about, increasing abundance and giving thanks. It's giving thanks when you do something. St. Paul in 1 Thessalonians 5:18 said, in everything give thanks. He didn't say give thanks for everything. In everything give thanks. So it doesn't matter what you do, when you're doing something, give thanks. Because that means you're bestowing upon it the attitude of acceptance and the reality that it's coming. Okay? The traditional Thanksgiving that we see is to really thanks for the harvest. And that's not what it was really for, and that's not what we're really about from the ancient times. Thanksgiving was a time where you got and had the harvest, but you gave thanks for all that you had available for the next year's harvest, you see. Thanksgiving, in the truest sense, was a pagan tradition of placing thanks on what was to come, not what was. Subtle difference. Okay? And sometimes when you get some of those things where you get your butt kicked, you say, how can I be thankful for it? Be thankful that you're aware enough to do something about it so you don't have to do it again. And how well will you know you're doing? Well, if you don't get your butt kicked again, you know you're doing well. If you get it kicked on a regular basis, you know you got something to look at. So it's really important. Henry David Thoreau said, I am grateful for what I am and what I have. My thanksgiving is perpetual. It is surprising how contented one can be with nothing definite, only a sense of existence. And then there is blessing. Oh, well, we do it real well when somebody sneezes, but that's about all. And then people think, well, it's something they do at church. Because that's what, our historical thing, and most of it is. But traditionally, the origin of the word blessing is to confer or bestow prosperity upon. And that is what it is in terms of the metaphysics. Eric Butterworth said, blessing changes you. Your thoughts and feelings and the consciousness you project into the world. You may be so uplifted in the joy of thanksgiving that your consciousness easily gives vent to the activity of your blessing. In your gratefulness of heart, you could confer prosperity upon all the many things, experiences, and persons whose performances influence your life. So you're bestowing prosperity on when you bless someone. So take it out of the sneeze. Okay? That's fine, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But take it back into an active thing where you're blessing what you're doing, because it is bestowing something upon it. It's bestowing your consciousness upon that, your energy upon that. Because if you're really upset with something or somebody and get yourself whipped into a lather in a frenzy, you're going to have that experience. Has anybody ever got that and then saw the person and got to be right about them? Where you got evidence about what you were right? Yeah, I knew they were that kind of person. See, they're still doing it. Right? Well, we don't need that kind of stuff. Easy to say, especially if you're dealing with politics. I always say three things you don't talk about is sex, politics, and religion. Stay away from those because you can have a lot of conferences that aren't great. Get back to what really matters for you and about with you. Because I'm finding out it doesn't matter who you're dealing with or who you're talking to or anything like that. Anybody that's on the path ultimately has the same idea at the end. I got a good friend who's a hardcore Christian guy, and we hang out all the time. But you know what? We talk about God and we talk about faith and how it works in our lives, but nothing about how we arrive there, because we both arrived at the same place with the same ideas and the same beliefs. But how we arrive there is totally different. And some people will say that my way is wrong, and some will say his way is wrong. Well, who really cares if you can have a conversation with someone about where you're both playing on that level field? And truth is always like that. Doesn't matter what religion or philosophy or teaching you're in, it's always like that. Okay, so it's not what you do have, it's what you don't have that counts. So work with gratitude, thanksgiving with that new idea, and blessing on whatever you're doing. And see what happens. I'll guarantee you, if you work that on a regular basis for the next month, by the time you come back next month, May 14th, Mother's Day, when I'm here, you're going to have a lot of stories you want to tell me. I'll guarantee you. And if you don't do it, then you won't have a whole lot of stories to talk about. Okay, so one of the other things here that's very important in this is to master the inner. Because that's where it is. It's not mastering the outer. Really, that doesn't matter much. It's mastering the inner. And I like what Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Whatever you think. Eric Butterworth said, and this is probably one of my most favorite quotes from Eric Butterworth, and it's in Spiritual Economics. He says, if you carefully search within yourself, you may come to the awareness that your most important asset is the conscious control of your own life. Nothing else can satisfy or fulfill unless you enjoy the freedom that comes from control of your inner world of mind and emotions. And that, folks, is a choice. I always tell people it's always a choice. Well, I don't have any choices. That's a choice. It is. You've had a choice, make them not have any choices, and that's what you get. You won't have any, because that's what you wanted. That's what you chose. So it doesn't matter. We always have that choice. Attitude plus choice is consequences. So you can either soar with the eagles or scratch with the turkeys. Turkey and the eagle don't have that decision to make. They're stuck in what they are. But we do. And I prefer to soar with the eagles. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is the greatest secret of success. And you already all know it. It's called the law of giving and receiving, or sowing and reaping. And that's the perfect circle. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a good giver, but when somebody gives their gift to someone else, they get upset. Or when they don't say thank you, they get upset. Does anybody do that? Well, that's because you're not giving, you see. You're really not. Giving is without any attachment. It's none of your business what the receiver does with your gift. None whatsoever. Because your part of the process is done when you give. Similarly, anybody have a hard time receiving? I'll take you out for lunch. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, blame me. Oh, you don't have to do that. The worst thing about being a bad receiver is not only do you block your own flow, here's a guilt trip for you. You also prohibit somebody from the joy of giving when you don't receive. I remember I got that lesson up and read to you. I'll tell you this one is a closing one for a good one. I was tipping in at 4 1/4, and I was really working to try to release some excess baggage. And I had this nice couple there. They were just wonderful supporters and people. And I remember the Christmas time, they got me this big can of top-end expensive toffee from Great Britain. I don't know how much it cost, but it was the best. And I thought, oh, what the hell am I doing now? I look like I need to eat this kind of stuff. Anybody ever do that? I went on, and then I read this, and I had to get over and kick my own butt, you see, because I'm being a poor receiver. So what I did the next year, I got the same gift. I was grateful for it and thankful, and I just rewrapped it, and I gave it to somebody else. You got that? And they were grateful because I was so happy to get it. And I was grateful because I was so happy to give it. So you get both ends of the stick. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we are both a good receiver and a good giver. And only we do it. It's got nothing to do with anybody or anything else. It's only got to do with us. But as soon as we bring the other person into it and their response, then we're not really giving and we're not really receiving. Don't want to take that from them and I'll owe one. Anybody ever do that? Don't want to take it because I'll owe them then. And I know he'll come back someday when they don't want to do it and he'll ask me. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So folks, there's a lot here, and this is going to get you kicked off into the month of abundance. And I'll guarantee you, if you look at these ideas and work with them, that you're going to cash in that lottery ticket. And it really doesn't matter whether it's just a free play or $1 million winner. You're still cashing it in. And you're not attached to the outcome. No attachments to outcomes. Because when you're not attached to the outcome, it's always good or better than you thought. So I go forward knowing for myself, as I know for each one here, that I am an excellent giver, an excellent receiver, and I have a willingness within me to release any obstructions in my channel that may block my good. And as I accept this and declare it, I know it to be so, and so it is.